Hello, this is Father Louie Scurti here once again with Ed Lucas. Ed is a very famous broadcaster, television, radio, sports announcer, journalist, and the list goes on and on. And Ed has been sharing parts of his story with us. Ed is blind, and that has not held him down at all. And in the earliest segment, we got some of the stories of his youth. And now you're bringing us up to when your mom heard that Phil Rizzuto was local.
Right. And we went to the American Shops in Newark, New Jersey. That was a shop that was built up by a guy that wanted to help the veterans. So he had clothes that would be reasonable for the veterans that came home from the First World War, Second World War, and the Korean War, and so he brought in celebrities to be a greeter. And Rizzuto was one, Yogi Berra was another, Ralph Branca, and Phil Rizzuto was there. And my mother and father brought me there on the impression that I was going to get new clothes for school.
But especially because you have this love for baseball.
Oh yes, yes, they wanted to lift my spirits again. And I guess my mother spoke to Rizzuto before he came over to me, and we started talking, and she said, hey, you can't, you have to lift your spirits, you can't let things go on. He said, I understand you're a big baseball fan. I said, yes. He said, tell me what you know. And we started talking. Rizzuto said, hey, I want to give you something. I said, what's that, Scooter?
Scooter, that was his
name.
Yeah,
he said, call me Scooter. And that's my father said, this is Phil Rizzuto and the Scooter. And so he said, I want to give you something. I said, what's that? He said, here's my home phone number.
Oh.
He said, and you call me up anytime you want. He said, I guess I can't have yours. Yours is unlisted, right? I said, oh, no, I'll give you mine. So I gave him my home phone number. And
what year was that?
1952.
Okay.
The beginning of 52. We met him in November or December, just before Thanksgiving. And I get a phone call. Hey, Ed, how you doing? This is the Scooter here. I said, okay, this is before they went to spring training. And he said, what are you doing? I said, just listening to the radio. How about if I come over and we'll go out and have a little ride, go for dinner or something?
Stop.
So
how old are you then?
13.
Wow, this is interesting.
So he picked me up in the Lafayette Gardens. He lived in Hillside, New Jersey. And he came to my house in the projects and took me out. We went for a ride, and he just tried to encourage me and tell me different things and so forth and so on. And so then, and I would try to ask him some things about the Yankees, which he would tell me.
What was going on inside of you, if you can remember, as you're having lunch with Phil Rizzuto? I mean, famous star, baseball player?
Yes. Oh, no, it was unbelievable. I mean, to describe the feeling, to this day, I couldn't do it.
Wow, that's great.
To this day. And before I knew it, we became very close friends. And he... when I went to high school in New York, the New York Institute for the Education of the Blind, on Pelham Parkway in New York, I started a club called the Diamond Dusters. And I wrote to Alvin Dark, who was a former New York Giants shortstop and played for the Cardinals, was traded to the Cardinals. And I wrote to him and asked him if he would come when the Cardinals came in, to come to my club that I started called the Diamond Dusters. They were all blind people that loved baseball. And
this is a handwritten note?
Yes. Well,
before internet, before email?
Yeah, I had somebody type it and send it to me. Okay. I mean, I could type it. They sent it out for me.
Good.
And so I called him at the hotel. And I said, Alvin, I said, this is Ed Lucas. He said, oh, yeah, Ed, how are you? I said, good. He said, listen, I don't know if I'll be able to come. This was 1957 now. And I said, what happened? He said, well, I had some trouble with my teeth, And Sal Ebars, who you know, I said, yes, he was a former catcher for the Giants, got me a dental appointment, and I have to go this afternoon. So I won't be able to make it. And the Cardinals were only in for a couple of days. So I said, maybe next time. He said, listen, why don't you call Wally Moon's office? He's former outfielder for the Cardinals. And he said, maybe he'll come. So I called back the hotel, and I asked for Wally Moon's office. And who do I get but someone else? No, this is not Wally Moon's office. He said, this is Lindy McDaniel. He said, can I help you? So he said, what do you need Wally for? And I went on to explain to him who I was. And
Right.
I never met Lindy McDaniel before. And he said, listen, will you mind if I came instead?
Stop.
He said, I would love to come. I said, oh, yeah, that'd be great. So he said, how do you...
I can't imagine this happening today, but this is wonderful.
Right. And I said, how do you get there? He said, well, I said, you can take this train to such and such a stop, get off there, and then, go in and take that train coming from Manhattan. So I'm walking around the campus waiting for him to show up. At lunchtime, he was supposed to come about 1 o'clock or so, and this fellow, Michael Abelson, yelled, hey, Ed, there's a cab here with somebody in it looking for you.
Stop it.
And
Oh,
he
my
took a cab from
goodness.
Manhattan to the Bronx,
Whoa.
up in the Bronx. And I interviewed Lindy, and we're still friends today.
That's amazing.
And then after that, I had Mickey Mantle, Phil Rizzuto and his wife.
You throw it out like it's common. You had, what does that mean, you had Mickey Mantle?
He came to the school.
Stop it.
And I interviewed him. And then I wrote to Jackie Robinson, who I had met on May 22nd, 1952, Ascension Thursday. My father took us over to the Dodger game against Cincinnati.
Right, because you had the day off.
Right. And so I wrote to Jackie and asked him if he would like to come up and meet with the Diamond Dusters. I explained to him what it was and so forth. And he had just retired. He was traded from the Dodgers to the Giants, and he said I would never play for the enemy. They were the enemy, so I would never play for them. So he retired, and he became the first black man ever to have a VP job, an executive in a major company throughout the United States. And he was with Chuck full of nuts.
God bless him. Isn't that funny?
So I wrote him a letter and explained what I wanted. He wrote back and he said, such and such a date okay? If that's okay, I'll be there for you, Ed. And he came, and then...
And this was to the Diamond Dusters as well?
Yes, to the Diamond Dusters in high school.
That's fantastic.
And that my mother, in 1952, going back, she wrote to Leo DeRocha, who was the manager of the New York Giants. And she asked him if there was some way he could send some autograph or something to lift my spirits right after the accident in 51.
Right.
And he wrote her a letter, and he said, when the season starts, you bring this letter and bring Ed over to the Polo Grounds. And bring him a couple hours before so he can come into the clubhouse and I'll introduce him to the players. So we got there, and of course no women were allowed at that time in the clubhouse.
So she had to wait outside.
So they put her on the center field porch
Oh, good.
overlooking the field, and she was watching batting practice from the porch. And I'm in the clubhouse, and the gentleman comes in, and then Mr. DeRocha came in and he introduced me. And so I said to him, Mr. DeRocha, I said, we'll be able to go out on the field, because I knew they were all out on the field.
Right.
I said, we'll be able to go out on the field and meet the players? And he said, no, sir. And my heart dropped.
Oh.
He said, you're my guest. And if they want to meet you, they have to come in here. And if they don't, they'll hear from me.
And that was Leo DeRocha.
That was Leo DeRocha.
Whoa.
He had everybody come in, and they had the small bottles of Coca-Cola. I don't know if you remember the real small ones.
The glass ones.
And everybody brought in a bottle of Coke. There were more bottles of Coke on Leo DeRocha's desk. And they came in, and I met Bobby Thompson and Whitey Rockman and Jim Hearn, Sal Magri. Monty Irvin came in, he was in on crutches. He broke his leg in spring training. So he was there on crutches. Willie Mays was already in the service, so I didn't see him that day. But, yeah, I met almost the whole team. And anytime you want to come, you let me know, Leo said. And we kept in touch, and I got to know the people in charge of the dugout, and they would let me in the dugout. And as a kid, and I would go in and talk to them, and I did my first interview with Willie Mays.
Okay, that's the key here. This is the start of the career. Tell me what that was like.
Well, that wasn't the start of the career was the Diamond Dusters, because when I
Interesting.
when they came and I interviewed them in high school, I said, "This is what I want to do."
And did you tape them? They used to have the
Some of them I taped, yes, but I sent them to some radio stations hoping they would send them back to see if something. But I never got any of them back. And Jim McKay I sent to, and a couple other people. But at the institute I did this, and so I applied to some colleges, and I got accepted at Seton Hall University.
Wow.
For communications, and I went in. I went away. I was away, for 4 years. I had to stay there in New York and come home on weekends. So I said, I don't want to stay away anymore. So I went to the Seeing Eye Incorporated in Morristown, trained with a dog for a month, and then came home and started Seton Hall in September of 1958.
And we're going to take a pause right there because, again, another cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Following your career, it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gotten you to Seton Hall.
Right.
This has been Father Louie Scurti with Ed Lucas, following the career of a budding journalist, and obviously he's well accomplished by now, throwing names out that all of us are extremely familiar with, especially in the sports arena. Thank you so much, Ed, for having us once again in your home.
Thank you.
And we'll continue these interviews. Hang on, and let's hear from you. Father FrLouScurti at hotmail.com. And Ed's going to give us his email as well. This is toward the foundation. We'll talk more about that in subsequent features. It's ed.l@edlucasfoundation.org. And we'll have that in the byline. Thank you very much. Let me hear from you. Father FrLouScurti at hotmail.com. God bless you.